sort of 2:00 in some galaxy. It's appropriate though, because today we have Eileen. I've only got a couple things to say, so you don't have to put up with me for very long. I'm just so happy to have her here. She's sort of my radio mom. She's the first person who ever interviewed me. I was a co-host on her show for a while, and then I had my own program on KKNW for a while, then began podcasting, and that's what you're seeing right now. So hopefully, let's see if anybody's out there. So thank you all so much for coming. Today personally is a celebration day because they found Manuel Ramirez yesterday. And a lot of us have been praying for that young man from University Place, Washington. I don't know any details, and we don't care, do we? We just know he's home. And so we are so happy. A funny thing happened to me yesterday as I had an appointment. There was a whole room full of people in the office, and I happened to say they found Manuel. I was smiling. I was so happy. I said, they found Manuel. Whole office said, they found Manuel. It was a whole office. Everybody knew him. It was the best. It was the best feeling to know that he was back. So blessings to his dad, also named Manuel. So I want to also say on my old radio show, because this is sort of like Radio Home Week, on my old radio show, I had a little segment I called the Farm Report. And on the Farm Report, I would talk about people that I was concerned with. And of course, now, we all have Hands of Light on Facebook, and that's where we pray for people. But I just want to make a shout out to Lois, who is mom of Hillary, my friend. I'd like to say Lois is in the hospital with her shoulder. Please to help Lois get better if y'all would. So prayers and love to Lois today. I just also want to say a shout out to Mosey and Aaron. I got my wand. I'm not going to point it at you guys. Who knows what would happen. But this wand is so incredibly powerful. It's great for healing. I can't wait to play with it. And it's sitting right here. So who knows what's going to happen. I'm really excited to work with it. And as everybody knows, I've been doing teasers here and there. Everybody knows Dr. Corey's coming on tomorrow. Corey Goodmanson, who is a chiropractor, and she also does vitamin wellness. She's probably have a better way to put that, but she is remarkable in that I heard her miracles before I actually met her. So many people I know, family and friends, go to her, and everybody has an awesome miracle. So, and I have a miracle too. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Can't wait to hear how she helps people to get well. She also does a muscle testing thing that's pretty cool. So the other thing I've been teasing, of course, is next week, which is Galactic Week, everybody. On Monday, we have Tracy Kelly Williams, who will explain the Akashic Records. And she calls herself an Akashic nerd. So it's going to be exciting to hear how she gets in there, what she does, how it all goes down. On Tuesday, it will be James Gilliland from the Ascetti Ranch. And that'll be my second time having a chat with him. And he's a lovely person. He's going to talk to us about disclosure. And he just interviewed Corey Good the other day. So that was really fascinating to listen to. So if you haven't heard that interview, please check it out. On Wednesday, we'll have Derek Condit. Again, he told me we can talk about anything we want. So you know what it's going to be. It's going to be disclosure, galactics, Derek's life, the new store, Shungite, all kinds of cool stuff. This guy is really fascinating, so can't wait. And then lastly, on Thursday would be Todd Rolston, and he will be talking about higher self, galactics, disclosure. You guys, you get it. It's kind of a thing. So really excited to welcome you, Eileen. I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us what in the world is going on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
There she is, everybody.
Yay. After that struggle, that was pretty amazing.
Well, the thing is that's why I always tell people we're never late. We're always on time, because just getting everything together all at once is hard. Yeah. Because we're going to invite people to ask Eileen questions today, because this is a special folder. I always turn my phone off and it always comes back on when I tell you, I'm just, technology doesn't love me, as we've already established. So you guys can ask her questions, just give the birth date or whatever is on your mind. But Eileen, can you tell us, what have you been doing lately?
Writing on my book, and I've been watching a lot of TV. But this whole business with the coronavirus and everything has basically been astrologically to me means that it's time for us to take time out for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're looking at a Saturn thing, that means slow down and stop, okay, what you're doing, and turn around and look inside. Because if you've been ignoring yourself at all, this stuff is going to come flooding right back up to the surface during this time. So I've been doing a lot of that, and you know, it's been really just kind of simple stuff, writing my scopes that I write every week for KKNW, you know, and it's a full life. And I frankly am glad that I'm doing this way, because it's sort of my natural habitat anyway, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to be more introverted. You know, I'm extroverted when I need to be, but I'm introverted basically at home, and I like being at home by myself. So it's great.
So has the place that you do what is it called? Sundown with Eileen. What's it called at the restaurant? After
Oh,
dark.
After
After
Dark.
dark.
Those haven't started yet,
Okay.
although Burrs is not open yet, but Pizza Casa is, and I have to talk to the manager there to get myself reset up again, because the day that I was doing it is her day off, and I like to be there when she's there. She's an awesome woman. So we just have to figure out when we're going to do it, what day of the week we're going to do it. But as soon as I know, I'll let everybody else know. You
Okay.
know, so no
Good.
worries there. But I don't know what's going on with Burrs. They just haven't opened up yet.
Okay.
So keeping track of them, but they're not open yet. So
And then how long have you been doing your show? Tell us about your show.
wow, 5 years.
Oh my
I
God.
can't believe. Oh, I can't even believe it, you know, because it just has flown by, and it's evolved step by step. It's evolved. And the thing is, we have a new producer. He's not new to the station, but he's new because Mike, you know Mike, unfortunately, he's been taking time away from the job because he didn't want to get exposed to the coronavirus. His doctor said best to stay away from that place, because I think his resistance, he's got some stuff going on. So we have Nathan Miller, who is our host and co-host, producer. He's fabulous. I get to do whatever I want on that show now. We're actually bringing in tapes of people to play music. You know, it's really cool when we do the Astro Celebrity of the Week. Last week we did Mario Lanza, and
Oh
we
my.
had a little lead in with his, you know, his magnificent voice. And so we've been doing that. We've been kind of changing the direction a little bit to be a little bit more fluid with the show, which has been great. You know, it's kind of what I hoped to do, but I didn't know exactly how to do it.
Mhm.
So I would ask Nathan, hey, can we do this? And he goes, sure, we can do whatever you want. You know, can I have little, you know, riffs and things like that, little sound effects? Sure, you can do that too. And I went, okay, great. So it's very cool. I love it. I love doing
Was
the show. It's
was
really
Nate
fun. And with Doug, it's all.
oh
What's
my
that?
gosh. Yes, Nate was a DJ, wasn't he?
I think he was at one time, very tall guy,
Yes.
and he's taken over Mike shifts both on Saturday and Sunday. And so this week we're really excited because I'm going to be on Manson Mitchell at 10 o'clock, and they're going to be on my show at 11 o'clock. So we'll
Oh,
be back to back. So it's going to be really wonderful. I love talking to those two. So it'll be cool.
and your show is always at 11.
11 a.m. on Saturdays on KKNW Alternative Talk Radio. That's 11:50 a.m.
That's right, everybody. And you can, if you're right around here, you can get it. If not, you can get it on
1150kknw.com, and then just go where it says to listen to it online. It's right on the front page. So it's easy to find.
it's so crazy. I've only said those addresses about 8,000 times and I can never remember when I'm
I can do it in my sleep, you know.
I bet you can. Well, what is so interesting right now, interesting in a weird butt kicking way, is that
Mhm.
not only did Mercury just go retrograde, or did it already? Is it today or what day was it?
So it's tomorrow. So
It's
it's
tomorrow.
stationary right now. That's why everything's very intense mentally, you know. So it's you were mentioning that earlier, that, you know, I've been going through some stuff in my head for the last day or so. Well, it is. I mean, when anytime a planet is stationary, it's slowing way down and it's about to shift direction. And that's what I'm writing my book about, by the way. So And so the energy of the actual planetary deal is very concentrated and extremely focused. So things happen around a stationary retrograde Mercury a lot. It's a couple of days on either side of the moment it switches direction. So it's when it's very, very slow moving into it, and then when it's going the other way, it's slow moving away. So it takes some time to kind of integrate all the stuff that's going on. And I've been trying to utilize it as much as I can by writing as much as I can, because during Mercury retrograde, it seems like it's a lot easier to get research done. Research, you know, the word, you know, and so that's why I'm kind of doing it that way. And I've been doing a lot of rewriting of the things that I've done. I don't know why. I mean, I haven't really added that much new stuff, but it seems like I'm called to look at that stuff again. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how many other planets are doing something funky right now?
Okay, I had to make a list here because I couldn't remember,
Okay.
honest to God. Okay,
That's
so
all right.
let me just go one by one and I'll tell you what they're doing. Okay, Mercury is stationary retrograde right now, stationary, and it's going direct tomorrow. So, or no, it's retrograde tomorrow on the 18th. So anytime it's a day before, it's really intense. Okay, so next we have Venus stationary retrograde direct. It's actually retrograde right now. It goes direct on the 25th of June. So that's that. So those two, this one isn't retrograde until tomorrow, Mercury, but Venus still is. Okay. So, and then we have Jupiter retrograde, and it is going direct on September 15th. So that's basically two. I think there's 6 or 7 of them that are this going that way. Saturn is retrograde. It's going direct on 9/29. September will be an interesting month because I can see there's more than one planet that's going to be changing direction. And then Uranus goes retrograde on August 15th. Okay, and then Neptune goes retrograde on 6/22. Okay, that's coming up here in a few days. Wow. I mean, that's just back to back to back to back here now. And then, Neptune. And then Pluto is retrograding now, and it'll be going direct in a few months. So it's quite a few, you know, it's like the only ones that aren't direct or retrograde are the sun and the moon, and they don't go retrograde. So anyway, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So
it is a lot. It's interesting you said about the, all the mental mashup, because I did experience that all day. I got up really early and then checked my messages and promptly went back to bed. I just said, not dealing with anything quite yet. I went back to bed thinking that I would do a little processing, because sometimes that does work. Sometimes you can get up real early and then say, I'm just going to change the day.
Yeah,
got up later and it was worse. I had all kinds of but these weren't my things, as it came up. But I thought, oh wow, if everybody's got something going on. I hadn't even looked on social media.
I think what it is like when a planet is about ready to stationary and go retrograde, it's like all the thoughts behind you, okay, they're all scattered out all over the place. They've all jammed to the finish line, and they're all pushed up against the line, the finish line. If there's a wall there, they're just smushed up against the wall because they're basically not giving any momentum to them. You see what I mean?
I do.
So yeah, and that's what I keep seeing visually in my head, is all these thoughts, that are in physical form, that are coming right up against this wall of the stationary, and they're smashing, and they're actually kind of falling apart, okay, because they've made this impact. And so tomorrow it'll release itself and go backwards. So they'll get off the wall a little bit and kind of dust themselves off and go, well, that was exciting.
Right.
And so it's like that. So it just compounds the amount of frequency and the amount of thoughts that you would have. And they are literally like, you're pushed up against the wall like this, and you really can't see, and you can't move. That's the whole thing. So it's being faced with a ton of stuff and not being able to do anything about it. So it's kind of interesting, but it has you looking at them really in depth. So that's what my feeling is about anything that's stationary It's all concentrated, remember? All concentrated. It's all coming together in a small amount of space, and they're ramming at you up against a wall, and what, not much you can do but kind of sit there and be with those things for a while. You can't really pick them out one by one because they're all in there together. So
Yes, and I think a lot of people I know, me included, took a big old fat social media break. And I think what's been going on with a lot of folks around me that, people I know, family, friends, etc., happening this week. Mine happened, I was always a little bit early. I'm usually a little bit early at feeling stuff. So I just chucked social media for about 7 days and felt a lot better for it.
Right. And that's kind of one of the things about Mercury. Mercury is about your identification, your relationship with the printed media, with the televised media, anything that's online. That's all Mercury stuff. And so the kind of thing that I have noticed, the same kind of thing that you've been noticing, is that my system got completely crumbed up with all this stuff inside. I had to walk away from all of it because it was just, I'm ODing on all of it. So and that makes sense with the retrograde, because the retrograde Mercury has people, if they've been born with a Mercury retrograde, for instance, it has them processing information in a different way than most of the rest of us do it.
Oh, so that's me, huh? That's me, right?
No, you don't have Mercury retrograde. I don't think you do. No.
Oh, I have a full moon or something. I think it's funny that you know my chart by heart.
I have a pretty decent photographic memory when it comes to remembering what charts are like, especially with people that I'm really close to. I can keep it kind of data, file it away and go, okay, that's that. But, I could check it here. Let's see.
Well, that's okay, because people do have questions. How do you want them to do it? Because I said send the birthday. Can you give them like a couple minute Snapchat of their snapshot of their birthday?
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
sure. Okay, so hold on 1 second, and then while Eileen is calculating, I will answer somebody's question, which has nothing to do with astrology.
Okay.
Okay, the first person who would like is Laurie, Lauri Wilson, 10/19.
Laurie. Hi, Laurie. How are you?
1964.
Okay, what was her birth date again? I'm sorry.
October 19th, 1964. So can you calculate if I talk?
She's a year of the dragon. She's a year of the dragon. Okay.
Oh.
And what time was she born?
What time are you born, hon? Yeah, she'll get back to us. Okay. And also, Nancy Congleton wants to know about solstice. So I can talk about solstice too in a second.
Okay, that's good. All right. You're talking about on June 21st, right? Okay, yeah, there's an eclipse right around there on the same day. So who knows what's going to happen? So what city was she born in? Not that it matters. Laurie City.
I'll have to get her to. She was born around here, I think.
I can just use Seattle since I have to do a chart that doesn't have the time of birth in it. Okay, I'll pull her up here. Okay, so what was her question that she had?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, everybody. So if you gave us the birthday, give us the question, will you? And that way that, Eileen is cogitating on your numbers. I can take a look too, just for fun.
Okay.
So Laurie is 7:30 to 7:45 in Olympia.
Oh, okay. 7:30 to 7:45. Okay, hang on. Let me get this thing. I have it chart up. I just need to fill in the time. 7:30 a.m.
Yes.
Okay, and in Olympia. Okay.
I think it's a.m. Yeah, it's a.m. Yeah. That was my big part of giving.
Okay,
so
she's in the morning. Yeah. Okay. So I think put down 7:30 a.m. Okay, this is interesting. She's born she's double Libra, Sun and Ascendant in Libra, and she has her Sun's right on the Ascendant, which is interesting. Okay, and it was very close to the other chart that I used. because that's the time I use as the sunrise time. So, okay, all right. So let me look at this for a second. Moon in Aries. Okay, so she's got a fair amount of fire. 1, 2, all 2 fire. That's not too bad, but okay. So does she have a question, a specific question?
Yeah, she says, what's her highest and best? What do you see coming through for her highest and best?
Okay. All right. This is interesting. You have a really interesting configuration here. Venus, Pluto, and Uranus all together here in the 11th house. So this is about relationships and relationship.
We've lost you. We've lost you. See if we can get you back, Eileen. Definitely have lost you. Sorry, folks. I hope you can still hear me. If you guys can still hear me, could you let me know? So I was kind of thinking this might happen because it was so glitchy. Yes, we can still, you guys can still hear me. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. She was about to say you're reading. So it's just me, which you really don't want me. Okay. I am going to try to get Eileen back as soon as my master computer person hears me from his office. Here he comes. Okay, hold on, kids. I am so sorry. This never happens at the radio station. Somehow it doesn't happen at KKNW. So we have lost Eileen for good. Can you call her? Okay. So what I'm going to do while we have this space until Eileen gets back is I'll answer some questions now. Sorry, kids. Okay, so let's look at Laurie. So Laurie, can you appear in front of me, please, asking for Laurie's energy and higher self? Okay, so Miss Laurie, you have some beautiful energy around you, but you're thinking a lot. So I think you're probably having the same thing everybody else is. We're just ready for those planets to do whatever they're going to do tomorrow. And when all those biggies are involved, boy, we really feel it. So I would say ground, go outside for absolute sure today. Now I'm going to clear off of what's going on over your head, Miss Laurie. Okay, so may I see a better picture of Laurie? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to clear off Laurie. And Laurie, go ahead and say that you're allowing body, mind, and spirit to coalesce as one. Pleased to say that. And just remind yourself now to ground in. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and clear all chakras, but we're going to concentrate on your throat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, very good. Okay, awesome. I'm going to turn your energy up, girl. Okay, you've got several symbols going on right here. So make sure that you're saying what you need to say. I didn't know you were a double Libra. So I have, I knew you were a Libra, and I've actually got quite a few of those types of friends. Really fun till you got to dinner with a Libra. They're like, well, I wonder what I want. Could I have this? Could I have that? Does that come with the cheese sauce? So what you're doing is you're holding something over your throat. So please make sure that you're making some sort of a statement, some sort of a stand, even if it's just I am, which is the best thing to say right now, of course. And then just let that go. Say what you need to say, write it if you have to, but definitely let it go. Okay, so Laurie, love you. So I'm going to go on now to Nancy Congleton. So she was January 4th. So she is a Capricorn. So when I look at Nancy's energy, okay, hold on. We're going to admit Eileen. So hold on. Come on, Eileen. There she is.
Oh.
Sorry. Sorry, kids. But you know what? I read Laurie.
Good. I'm glad. That's really good. Okay. Sorry, Laurie. Well, anyway, I don't know what's with Zoom. Anyway, so
That's okay.
Your relationships are interesting. They're combination friendship and intense soulmate type of thing. So you have to determine what side of the bed you're on any given morning when you get up. whether you're in the intense merging type of stuff, or you really want to, it has to do with sharing the stuff that you don't want to share with people. And when you share it, it makes you closer. It's not sexuality, although that's kind of the latter part of it. It kicks in later,
Okay.
but it's opening up parts of yourself that you're not used to sharing. And when you do that, you have an amazing enlightened relationship. So yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah.
Our next contestant is Nancy. She is January 4th.
Okay.
At January 4th, 1955 at 1450.
Okay. Can you translate that to regular time? January 4th, 1950.
Yep.
What time? What time again?
2:50.
2:50
p.m.
p.m.
Mm-hmm. In Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta. Okay. And what is her question?
She wanted to know what would be awesome to do on the solstice. So if you see anything that maybe she wants to concentrate on, I can look at that too.
Whoa, she's born on a full moon. Oh, that's perfect for her. Yay. She's born on a full moon. So that actually works for her. And she's got a moon in Cancer. So that's something to do with the earth and staying around your home. And, you know, what you can do is to celebrate the solstice by really digging into your own stuff, you know, because a full moon person basically has, you know, this is a solar eclipse coming up, yes, but anytime there is an eclipse, you should celebrate it. And let's see how you can do this. Let's take a look. Oh, we got Neptune squaring her. Wow. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we are. Is she by the water?
Yeah,
I need to know that. I need to know.
Maybe she will. While we're waiting for that answer to the question, I will tell you, Nancy, your energy is going backwards overthinking. So for sure, go ahead and go outside today as much as you can. Go outside, ground, call yourself back in, for sure. So backwards overthinking, in the way it's coming through with my pendulum, tells me that it's about to change. So today is a day you can actually make this happen. You really can. Okay, yeah. She said, Eileen heard wrong. She's during 1950. It's 1955.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Well,
and she has a large pond. Awesome.
Oh, okay. That's good. Okay, let's check and see if this is still applicable. Yes, it is. Okay. All righty. And yeah, water. Yes. Water for sure. Oh yeah, you have the square from Moon to Neptune. So, and you have Neptune in the 4th. So she has a pond in her backyard. That's good. I mean, she would have to be around water no matter where she was. It's just because that really revitalizes her and brings her back to her spirituality. But she's very deep person, and also extremely intuitive. So you have a really kind of an amazing chart here. It looks like almost a full Star of David here in the chart. Well, it's like one step removed, but those are two individual trines intersected that looks like a Star of David. Okay. So anyway, that's very mystical too. A lot of mystical rectangles, and that's very mystical as well. I mean, here's the thing with her is that, you know, she's a Capricorn, so she's going to take life's route down, you know, the corporate route and feel most comfortable there. But she's got so much other stuff that is sort of calling her. The spiritual is calling her more than anything else. So she keeps having mystical experiences that kind of, well, wait a minute, that kind of goes against what I'm thinking about regular life, because regular life is what we actually experience through the nature of the earth sign, or say a water or an air sign. So you have Mercury and Capricorn. So you're very methodical and very, you tend to prioritize things out and you organize very well. But, I have to ask her something. I wonder if she does research, because if she should be doing that if she isn't already doing that. So, okay. And that's really, truly what she needs to be doing, is being by the water, right now. I mean, she can do some sort of spiritual standing by the water and doing some sort of breathing exercise that breathes in the sea. And I would recommend going to not to just your pond, my dear. You need to go to a big body of water.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, hopefully she'll answer that question. So the next person that we have is Angela Ruber.
Oh, Angela, hi, honey.
Yeah, she's on. And so she was born on Christmas Eve, 1952.
Yeah, I remember that. December 24th, 1952.
4:46 a.m.
46 a.m. And what city? Oh, she's in
Puyallup.
That's right. I thought she was over that way.
And Nancy says, yes, research.
Research. No kidding. And the more she gets into it, the more excited she gets with it. So it's like you keep going deeper and deeper. Okay, let's take a look at her. Yes, I've seen her chart before. Okay, and what is Angela's question?
Well,
Does she?
If I was researching, highest and best.
Highest and best. Okay.
I'll look at her too, just for poops and giggles.
Okay. Highest and best. Okay, so you have North Node and you have Venus and Mars. Interesting. All at the North Node position. And so that tells me about possibly you're kind of trying to decide which gender to be. You know, there's a gender thing going on here. So this lifetime, she's learning more about being a feminine person, but there's masculine energy on the other side that is equally trying to get out. Mm-hmm. Okay, so their highest and best thing to do is to go into that experience and write about it. You know, write about her experiences of being a female. Also, you know, the tag along experiences, you have leftover stuff from a previous lifetime that says, well, I was a male, but I'm not sure if I want to do the female thing this lifetime. So you have a choice this lifetime, whether or not you do masculine energy or you do feminine energy. Of course, masculine is the aggressive nature, and you have a moon in Aries too, which sort of supports that. So Mars rules Aries and moon is in Aries. So you have the wanting to be first type of thing. But then Venus says, no, I don't want to be first. I want to put myself second, you know, with somebody else. I want to look in the mirror and get a sense of who I am in that mirror. So it's an interesting juxtaposition. Whenever I see Venus and Mars in relationship to what we call the nodal axis, I know there's possibly going on a nodal or a gender shift this lifetime. So that's very possible. Very, very possible. So it has to do with your femininity and your masculine side. Somehow it's about integrating both and having them be as important. Actually, I would say Venus is a little more important than Mars is because it's a little closer to the North Node. So that's what I have to say on that. So
okay. So what I would my little part of that is when I look at you in energy, hun, you're going around. You're about 6 inches to you're about to change. You're about to go whoop, and it's going to be really good. So don't fight it. Just go for it.
Yeah, that's true. You know, and you know, with her North Node on Aquarius, it means life is about change for her. Mm-hmm. But you know, whatever side of the saddle she's riding on in any given moment, she has to be in that moment. You know, and it's usually, you know, when your life is about change, it is sort of like you can't really necessarily count on anything. You just have to take it moment by moment.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. And so the next person's name is Christie, Christie.
Okay.
And sorry, kids, I'm going out of order because I'm sort of using my brain in 4 different ways. So I'm hoping for the best here. So Christie, and her birthday is 12/21/1956.
Okay, 12/21. Okay, December 21, 1956. Okay.
Born at 2:53 a.m. in Longview.
In Longview. Okay. Oops. Okay, Leo moon up there. Wow, cool. She's a star. Okay, and okay, all right. I see something here that's interesting. Okay, this is kind of something, and let me tell you, when I read a chart, it's the first thing that jumps out at me. You know, something that jumps off the page and gets my attention. And so you have a Neptune on your ascendant, which is interesting, of Scorpio rising. So this is perfect. This is perfect for an actress. Yes, yes, yes. Neptune on the ascendant basically means you can shape shift your way you look in front of people just by creating the thought or the emotion inside. It comes from inside that goes to outside. So you could literally do that. Now, somebody who had that, I believe, or it was around the ascendant, was Marilyn Monroe. She had a very, she could change, kind of a changeling sort of thing, depending on what movie she was in, what character she was playing.
Mhm.
So with the moon up there in Leo, that means Leo is saying, I have a special destiny to fulfill, and it must mean that I must need to be a star in some way. I don't know what you do as far as a career, but acting is the best thing for you, because you can explore all sorts of internal landscape things and kind of figure out what it is you're doing and then portray it on stage, and you will be able to make literally people get it just by the actions that you do. It's really amazing. So it's whatever kind of comes up from the inside, and you plaster it on yourself and take it out on the stage, and then you're fine. So, and you can create any sort of any sort of identity you want. This means that, a Neptune on the ascendant basically means that when you were growing up, you probably felt somewhat invisible in your family. It felt like you were always shape-shifting around. You could be in a room and you walk into a room and you would feel people's energy or feel the energy of the room, and you would become that room, because Neptune picks up anything that it is around and becomes it. Okay. So it's a really fascinating chart, and I keep seeing this here. One of the things you'll have to worry about, though, is making enough money, because it's kind of tough for you to get money and hang on to it. So, but if you do things according to what you really desire to do, your moon wants you to do this. Your moon wants you to do this. Moon, your moon is about what makes you feel good about yourself. And it's up in that 10th house saying, I'm going to do this for a living. I'm going to do it for a career. So there you go.
Oh, I love it. And she gets the best energy award of the day. It's looking really good. And I hope you guys all know how to keep your good energy. What is it? Water, exercise, good food. All three of them.
Yeah, not necessarily in that order, though.
Well, mostly water if you could. I hope everybody's noticed how thirsty we are right now. It's all the planets pressed up together.
Well, it's the Mercury thing. I mean, Mercury requires water to be in the mouth so you can wet your whistle.
Exactly. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now, before I give you the next birthday, is, are you guys having fun out there? I don't see any hearts and loves. Can you give us some hearts and loves? I'm just making sure. I think some of you guys are sleeping out there. So I think it's really fun to have a mix up of these types of podcasts, because some podcasts are just for listening to, some are to interact with, and some are to just really, really, really learn. Eileen's got, oh, here comes a heart. Thank you.
Oh,
here comes a ton. Thanks, you guys. We love you too. Awesome. So Tanya, this is Tanya, 6/29/1969, June 29th, 1969.
6969. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
6/29.
June 29, 1969.
Yes.
Okay.
At 7:30 p.m. And Tanya, I could not find where you were born, dear.
Can we get that on here? Gotta have that.
Thank you, guys. I like to see the loves. If you got the little, did anybody have the little alien? I like that, the little galactic person. Let that float by. No, Tanya wants to know what's the highest and best, but I don't see where she, oh, Thief River Falls, Minnesota. All right.
What Thief? What is it? Thief River?
Thief River. They've got some good names back in the motherland of Minnesota. That's where my people.
How do you spell thief? As in
THIEF.
Thief River. Okay, I've never heard of it. Minnesota. All right, but it's in my computer. So all right.
Oh, okay. It's Thief River Falls. Sorry, Thief River Falls.
Oh yeah, that's what it says here. So,
sorry,
okay. So we got a Sun in Cancer, and we have a Sagittarius rising, Moon in Capricorn. Interesting trio.
Wow.
So okay, so you have sometimes I want to look at the people when they're asking about career or purpose in life. I like to look at the midheaven and see what's going on up there.
Okay.
You don't have any planets in the midheaven, but you do have one that's semi-close, and that's Uranus. So that's the ruler of Mary's sun sign, and it's the wacko planet. It's the one where you are, it kind of shows that you have a lot of activity going on in that ninth house, which tells me that you are an explorer of beliefs and adventures. So Jupiter's up there, good place for it, and then you have Pluto up there too. So you are really trying to you are on a quest for the best possible belief system you could possibly have. So with all those planets up there, there's a combination of them, a lot of them different ones, and ones that would probably give you information on a really detailed way so you can figure out who you are right down to nuts and bolts. So that's a fairly important chart or thing in your chart when you see that much activity in one house. Okay, so let's see here. Mars retrograde, interesting. Okay, don't see that often. It's interesting. It's in your 12th house, so that means it's hidden. So your Mars it's in Sagittarius, so it's sort of like you really need to take trips. Okay, take long trips over water, to some place. Well, let's see what this is, you have kind of a Jupiterian chart anyway. The ruler of the sun, the ascendant is Jupiter. So Jupiter's up in its own house, the ninth house. So that means you are in a quest for adventure, and adventure through going into the cultures in various societies, and also taking on studying the various principles of their spirituality. Of course, that's what you would do, So it's interesting because this might include writing a book, because this is also a writer's chart. So, and you do have a Venus or Mercury in Gemini, which means it's in its own sign. So it means you are attracted to a ton of interesting information that are seemingly not related to each other. But one of the things you're supposed to do is to look to your Jupiter and have you all tie it all together. I know I'm going off on different tracks here, but this is kind of what I do. So, okay. And you also have an artistic side with a Venus-Neptune opposition. And so that might also be your relationships. Somehow you just cannot put any man or woman on top of a pedestal and look at them and say, oh, they are the be-all, end-all of my life. Well, they're not. So I hate to always burst people's bubble that way, but, it's just crazy, when you have that much faith happening for a person that's outside of you. So it's kind of the way you have to look at it, is what's inside. And you have a 7th house sun, so that's pretty much says, in order for me to do my life, I need to do it with somebody else in it. Okay. Anything else?
Awesome. The only thing I would add is, all right. The only thing I would add is sometimes you look at what's going on around you with old glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
So something that you learned in the past or some trauma that happened to you causes you to look at what's coming up in an old way. So take this beautiful time that we're in right now to research and dig into why you are feeling that way, and walk into it. You can't just release. People say release. Well, that's great. You have to really bring it in, check it out, love it up, and then you can release it.
And I also might add is that the old-fashioned way that you're talking about, a moon in Capricorn in the 2nd house, that means she hangs on to her stuff, and also what you're looking for comfort and familiarity and security is stuff you already have, and it's sort of like, apparently, to maybe other people, it looks like you don't have that many feelings, but you really do. But they're tied up with your material worth. So there you go. It's interesting.
I just realized that I forgot to say whoever the person was who was the actress. I wanted to say the folks that are really making changes right now, looking in your life to see what sort of things can just have a little come up.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are getting along the best right now. that are
Okay.
kind of going with the old flow, making changes and
Yeah.
doing their business in a different way and thinking about the
Yeah,
things differently.
it makes sense with all the activity that has been and it still is in Capricorn. That's, you do it the old way, you know, you look behind you and go, well, it worked back then, so I'll do it now, you know, instead of moving forward into the Aquarian sort of feeling, which is, I see what I did back then, I see what I'm doing now, but I'm going to change it in the future. So the perspective's different because there's a need for change, but Capricorn doesn't want change.
Hmm.
It just wants to,
Yeah.
that's it, it's staying right there.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Okay.
So Diane got back to me, and she is born February 24th, 1966.
February 24th, 1966.
5 in the morning
All
in
right.
Newcastle, England.
5 in the morning. Oh, Newcastle.
This is Diane from the showcase. So last I heard, the showcase opened up that much, and it's going to happen next week. I think only a tiny little amount of people in there at a time, and we are all just gonna be happy to see one another.
Wow, that's going to be exciting. Okay, here's what is it, Diane, you said her name was?
Yeah, Diane.
Oh gosh. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in Pisces. Oh, poison. Okay.
She wants to know about writing a book.
I would say, okay. I'll say, let me see what's going. Okay. Oh, she's got sent. Oh, perfect. Okay, so she can do that. All right. The thing that you're going to have to battle against are two things, Diane. One is lethargy, and because you have enough planets here in Pisces that can create that, and also the other thing you're going to have to battle against is editing and reworking your stuff that's already exists. Sort of, you read through it and you kind of go, oh, that's not that good, and then you want to go back and rewrite it. So you'll kind of get stuck in that edit frequency, as well as not wanting to go to the computer and work on any given day. So those are two things that kind of, I wouldn't say they run against you, but you can turn them around and use them in a different way. First of all, your writing can take on a spiritual tone, which means you get your information from the right side of your brain, which is how you think anyway. When you were in grade school, you had Capricorn rising too, which is kind of interesting. So you kind of did everything that everybody thought you should do well. And then you have this Pisces stuff that says, but I want to just veg for a while and daydream. Okay, well, that's not part of what Capricorn does. But it basically gives you a lot of creative information when you jump to the right side of the brain. So my thinking is, if you were to write a book, it might be poetic, something that has rhymes to it, something that has that kind of rhythm to it, okay? And you also have these opposition to Mercury or Uranus and Pluto. So there will be times that, bam, you'll get jettisoned right out of your seat when you pick up stuff, information that'll really shift your perspective. Okay, and when that happens, you try to write it down as much as you can and try to get Saturn to help you kind of get your act together. Saturn and Mercury are right next to each other in the chart. Generally, that means there's sort of an insecurity about communicating. But for writing's sake, I mean, when I wrote my book, once I really got into it, I could focus and concentrate on it for hours and upon hours upon hours, and then I'd move away for a while and then I would come back and concentrate on it. That's kind of what she has to do, because otherwise you'll probably want to not do anything. It's sort of a procrastination thing, but with Saturn there, she probably won't be allowed to do that.
Okay, well, good.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we have time, I think, for two more, if you still have enough time. Do you?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Eileen?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so we're going to take two more people. So one is Kathleen and one is Teresa.
Okay,
So Kathleen is 11/14/1949.
Okay.
Born at 11:25 Eastern Standard Time. She didn't say where.
Okay, you don't have the time? Okay.
Well, 11:25. I don't have the vicinity. I don't have the
You don't have the city?
The city.
Is
That's
she
the word. So if you're on, Kathleen, can you say
hello, Kathleen?
hello to some of you late people. And Diane says, thank you very much. There's quite a few people on here, and I'm really thankful you tuned in today.
Wow. How many people are in the room?
At this moment, 11. So I'm thinking, okay, there's Kathleen, 5:25 p.m. Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's November 14th, right?
Yes.
Okay, you said 11:25 a.m., but 5:14.
Yeah, I don't know why I said 11:25. Sorry, everybody. It's really hard to get my poor little Aquarius brain with all those planets sitting on my head. I can't do it. I need a helper.
Okay, it's 5:14 p.m. you said?
5:25 p.m. Detroit.
Okay, in Detroit. Okay, all right, D-A-T-M-I. Okay, all right. Scorpio. I love Scorpios because they're always so interesting. Okay, all righty. Now, does she have a specific question?
Oh, probably.
I would think of the chart like this, she probably does.
Could I find it? I don't know. So Kathleen, do you have a question, hon? And I'm going to go up here and see if I can't find it. So Eileen, do you want the other person's birthday while I look?
Oh, no, I think I'll get that from you in just a second. I'm just staring at this chart. I'm looking at stuff going on in her career. She's going to have some big changes happening here soon, if she doesn't already. It may not happen for a few months, but it's kind of like you be, you know, putting your roots down in a new profession. So it's pretty major what's happening. So
she wants to know, what is her best service? I believe she's retired, and she is a healer, just to let you know, 11/14/1949. I think I said that. That's right.
Oh, it's perfect for her. It's perfect. She has a 6th house sun, and that's the house of service, by the way. And she has Virgo moon, which is also, that's the sign that rules the 6th house, and that's about service. So it's interesting that people pick out the words they use when they're asking questions.
Yes.
They pick it out according to what there's in their chart. It's amazing how that happens.
Yes.
So she is very much into service, and she's done some healing work.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I can see why. And I would imagine she's done very deep healing work, not the stuff on the surface. We're talking about the very deep stuff that goes very deep, you know, deep emotional wounds that you can help pull that out and have them, you know, pull the gunk out and have them look at what they're seeing that they've been blocking. So yes, that's absolutely perfect. Perfect. You know, I don't know of a Scorpio that doesn't need to do that, because in order for them to heal themselves, they need to heal other people. And I think that's to a degree is right for everybody, but Scorpios in particular need to do it the most. So yes. So okay, and let's see, what else have we got in here? If you have, you know, you have issues with relationships, not sure how those are going, but hopefully you've been in a relationship for a very long time. It looks like that you could have been, but you're also noticing that every now and then you need to have your freedom in your relationship. This is just like me, by the way. I have the same thing in my chart. I'll get in a relationship, I get really intensely involved, sort of like in a scorpionic way, even though I'm not a Scorpio. But then all of a sudden I go, I gotta go now, see you. Zip out the door, not see the guy for 3 weeks. So I realized that about myself in my last relationship that I had. I says, I must honor that, because there's a really strong need for me to come back to myself. And I usually notice that for most people in relationships, they give up so much of themselves and they become somebody else in a relationship. You know, hopefully they're enhanced and are better, but sometimes they're not. So anyway.
So she said she was divorced after 45 years. Happy me.
Good for you. I'm glad to hear it. Was that, it had to have been recently, have to be in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah,
So.
I think so. The only thing I would say, Kathleen, is you're really thinky right now. So hopefully after those planets do whatever it is their little planet butts do, where they're not pressed up against the glass. Sorry, the whole reason I was on
planet butts.
The whole reason I was on Eileen's show was to make her laugh and to read the deceased people. So I don't know much about astrology. But what I was going to say, though, Kathleen, is you're overthinking some stuff. So slide back down into your body. You know how to do this. She's a great healer. She's just really trust and believe. You've got this.
Well, she's got this double whammy. She's a sixth house sun and Mercury there. And it's a Mercury in the sixth almost always overanalyzes everything. The
Ah,
sixth house is the house of Virgo. And when it's sitting in there, the mind is just wrapped up in all the little details. And it can't really get itself out of the loop. And then to top that off, she's got a moon in Virgo. So emotionally, she pulls her emotions in and goes through all of it all over again. So
okay.
it could drive her crazy actually, but the best way to do it is that she does have a south node next to her Neptune. She needs to go there. I think there's some creative energy in her that she can actually go in and do some visual work or meditating or photography or something that's visual, you know, and that she can actually pull herself out of those mind traps all of the time by jumping into the more creative side of her, and that will take the reins or loosen the reins of the control of your mental state. So there
Okay.
you go.
So
Yeah.
the last lovely winner that Vanna and I are going to work on today is Teresa.
You calling me Vanna.
It's Teresa King. So if I missed anybody, I am very sorry for missing you. And I tell you, we have a host of weirdos coming on next week. So come on in and we'll help you. Or you can send me your burning question and, you know, what the heck. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
you can send me your question too, you know.
yeah, Eileen, she's good for a question. Okay, so what we want to do for Teresa is 8/8/59, August 8th, 1959.
1959. Okay, and time of birth?
4:15. Thinking that's AM. She didn't say.
Okay, we should find out. Okay.
Well,
And
she was born in Corydon, Indiana, Corydon. I'll look and see if she said AM or PM.
Corydon, what was it again?
Indiana.
Indiana. Indiana. Okay, oops. I do IND and it says India. Okay.
PM. Sorry, Ingy, we missed you. Ingy, you can ask.
Indy is there.
Yeah.
Hi, Indy.
Ask Eileen, or you can ask me a big something.
What's that?
I was just telling Ingy she can text me if she has a burning question.
Okay.
It's 4:15 p.m. Yep.
Okay, 4:15. Got it. Okay, wow, what a chart. Okay. A lot of stuff in the 8th and 9th houses. You got 7 out of 10 planets in the 8th and 9th houses. That's a lot. That's very concentrated. So her 8th house is about the soul relationship to yourself. And that is also next to your planet Uranus. Well, that's great. Okay. I have a friend who is a Uranus Sun conjunction. He's just like from another planet. I'm serious. So anyway, so we could say that about you. You know, we could say that because, you know, you're a Leo, and Leos need a lot of attention. They need to, you know, play their life out on a stage, but you may not have to do that because what you really enjoy is being of service to humanity. You are a humanitarian at heart. And so that's very good. And okay, you have Mercury and Leo retrograde. So this upcoming retrograde will feel normal for you. By the way, if you have a Mercury retrograde natally in your chart, when the planet actually goes retrograde, you will feel much more yourself. So it doesn't affect it natally, it affects it positively. Okay, so, and then we have Venus and Mars up there in the night. So we have a lot of stuff in the night plus the moon. So that means travel, that means education. It could mean, you know, writing books or researching things. You probably do a lot of work working with female and males, you know, just they're just the way they are normally. You have a Pluto. Oh boy. Okay, I just found something here. We wouldn't want to get you angry because you could blow up the whole department. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Yeah, and that's Pluto Mars aspect is pretty tough. You know, I have it myself, so I notice that I've only been really angry about 3 or 4 times in my life. Really angry, but you wouldn't want to see that. So anyway, okay, and Sagittarius rising, which does support the 9th house there with all the activity that's going on up there. So 9th house is travel. Is a travel to go to a place where you feel connected to spiritually, also going for a pilgrimage, you know, that's when you go and you study the customs and the traditions of the society that you're going to visit, and that you would take them on. You see, it would be part of your mechanism, basically. So, you know, another thing I would suggest that you do is do a thing called astrocartography, because of your need to travel so much, and this means all over the world. This would mean that you would travel to places that you feel very strongly about, and we can figure out where those places are with the astrocartography map. Just a suggestion, because if you're not sure where you want to go, you should look at a map, and it'll tell you exactly why to go there and what you'll experience there. So,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, yes,
The
it
only-
is.
The only thing I would say is you're about ready also to do something else. Your energy is backwards. So please to figure out why. Let me see what's underneath that. So can I see Teresa popping forward? Yours is overthinking too. So I would say get some of that stuff out, go outside. Those are just the basics. If you want to know further, you could get some type of a more in-depth reading about that, but something's causing your energy to go backwards. And I would say, please, for sure, to drink some water. You really do need to. Okay. Well, gee, Eileen, thank you. You really stretched your brain. And
Yeah, I kind of did. Yeah.
I sure appreciate it. And, you know, the reason I didn't even realize, you know, you picked this date. I remember I said you picked this date, and this is the perfect date because we're coming up on the solstice, one of my favorite times of the year, to go outside and just give thanks that here we are on this planet, and to stand in the grass and sing a little song with our friends.
Right. Among other things. And of course,
there's a lot of cool things to do on solstice, but just give thanks that here we are. We're here right now on this planet, so we are meant to help everybody. We're meant to help, and we're also meant to be good to ourselves as first position. So I thank you, Eileen, and everybody. I know you're going to survive the Ring of Fire eclipse coming up.
You will. I was going to say, just be aware on the 21st of June, which is the eclipse. That's the change, obviously, that goes into our summer solstice, but it's also an eclipse on that day. Mm-hmm. So it's double whammy, folks. So we're just going to have to watch and see what happens in the news this time. So.
Woo!
By the way, I have 4 years anniversary from my friendship with you on Facebook today.
Really? Oh my God. That is awesome. I did not see that. I wasn't on that much today, so I will take a look at that. But I tell you that I really, really, really appreciate everything you've done for me, radio speaking, because I did not know I liked radio so much and always want to go back there. So, you know, my goal is to be the female Howard Stern.
Well, you know, that would make sort of sense. You have to learn how to confront people, though. You know what I mean?
I know. I really don't. I always go, well, if you want to believe that, it's totally cool because I'm an Aquarius. You know, I support that. But yeah, I don't. You should profile Howard Stern. He's an interesting individual.
Yeah, he's interesting. He's a very interesting chart. He's a Capricorn, you know, and he's also going through major psychotherapy right now. He had a pretty bad childhood. So.
Well, he's changing
every day, and he's starting to straighten himself off. He came up with that cocky attitude, and that came out of his childhood. So, I mean, he's kind of mellowing out a bit. So this is good. Yeah,
right. It was all about naked people and the shock jock stuff, and now he's really a good
How long is hoo-hoo is?
What's that? I missed that.
I said how long his hoo-hoo was. But
oh, goodness, yes, Howard Stern, that guy. But now he is kind of more of a solid interviewer. So I was really after that. I wasn't after all that other stuff. But
yeah, exactly right.
Okay, everybody. Well, love you. Thank you for coming on. And everybody says there's a lot of loves and thanks. So you guys, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week on Monday with Kelly. I can't wait to hear about the Akashic Records. I'm really excited about that. And of course, the lead into Galactic Week. Okay, everybody. Love you. Love you, Eileen. Thank you. Bless you for coming.
Love you too. Okay. Bye.